Schematic is an early stage fund that focuses on supply chain manufacturing. We closed our last fund in December of 21. We're a $60 million fund too, investing 1 to 2 million in early stage pre-seed and seed stage rounds. 2019 to establish AMT as San Francisco Tech Lab, where he works very closely with today's leading manufacturing entrepreneurs. So let's all give Ryan a hand. So manufacturers contract job shops with those who need parts produced.
Yeah, good question. So I think that it's been validated that people will do this type of work on the internet. Geometry and all the rest of the competitors, like you mentioned, Protolab, you mentioned Fictive, they're not doing what I would call capital N manufacturing. They're doing small jobs. Their customers are individual engineers. They're not really working with procurement departments. That is a huge freaking market. I mean, if you're looking at like if you combine the revenue of all of those players, they still probably only have like 10, maybe 15% of that, of like what's there. So there's a lot of juice still to squeeze out of that lemon. Most of the business is still done the old-fashioned way.
And being the factory. So if we think of Hadrian, if we think of Plethora, we're gonna end it with you for other names. But the new, what Rapid's doing for manufacturers. So the new model of becoming the factory, bringing technology to the production process, you know, your thoughts on the long-term viability of that?
I don't really see it. Okay, so like maybe that's a wave now, but I mean, I don't really see what they're doing that isn't. It's easier to bring the latest technology to a greenfield new factory than it is to take an existing factory and try to bring all the new tech in. Look at what Lego is trying to do. So Lego is like the most sophisticated injection molding operation in the entire world. I think there's some case studies out there about like how they're trying to retool right now, where they're like, holy cow, like we spent billions of dollars in making this awesome. Now we want to make it even more awesome, and we can't. We got to start from scratch. And so I applaud anyone that's like opening a factory right now. There are pros and cons to buying an existing manufacturing business and retrofitting it with the latest technologies. There's advantage to that, but it's really hard to bring that new technology in, design for it. Then I think that there's a lot of demand, there's an increasing amount of demand for domestic manufacturing, especially in the sectors that these businesses are launching in. And I think that they can make waves with it, but I wouldn't, you know, a lot of people could do that.
Yeah, well,
because of the massive supply chain disruption, you're starting to see people reevaluate that because they just can't make it as cheaply here, period. And frankly, the rate at which adoption or automation can be adoption is not going to happen fast enough. There's just no way. There's just not a fast enough pipe for automation. Guilty.
Will space manufacturing ever happen?
Absolutely, yes.
Which is the one startup that no one in this room is aware of that we should be watching?
Stealth Machine. Maybe some people aren't aware of it, but I think they should be.
That's actually the name of a company. I'll confirm. Not a hidden machine that's somewhere in this room. Great. So with that, any questions?
I'm just waiting on the green light.
Oh,
I'm responsible for
all of you.
getting it out of your hair.
I see.